Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. One of the biggest disappointments so far here in Stage 2 is no doubt the Los Angeles Thieves. After a very promising start to the year, top 3 potential, lots of people predicted them to win Major 1. They fell short at top 6, got reverse swept by FaZe for the loss, and now have started Stage 2 with a 0-3 record with a very small chance indeed to make it to the winner's bracket. What's going wrong with this team? Do they need a change? They're getting roasted all across the board. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you were new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. First of all, thought this is cool from the Minnesota Rokkr. Love this every time they kind of tweet this out from the bar they had. I can't imagine what the vibes would have been like in here when they were down 0-2. Can't have been pretty. But I mean, look, Rokkr are making a habit at this point of making these reverse sweep comebacks. They do it last night against Los Angeles Thieves. The venue, I'm sure, got pretty excited about it. But I mean, yeah, of course, the FaZe series that went down after that, the Ultra guys, they're in a tough spot as well. The way they lost this series was honestly pretty tragic for the Ultra guys. And honestly, I thought this is incredible as well. Like TacticalRab Academy pointed out, the amount of series or the amount of hardpoint games over Ultra's career really as an organization that have well just had incredible score lines. Like this one, for example, last year 145-7. Of course, this ended, what was it, 250-14 or something. There was this game as well against OpTic with Los Angeles, 176-4 this was at the time. This map then just a couple of days ago, 125-12, and then even this one that Gator Boy points out in the reply, which was last year in Cold War, 222-7 this was against OpTic here on Checkmate. So I mean, yeah, I don't know what happens to Ultra, like why they start games out like this, either in their favor or in the other team's favor. But I mean, yeah, maybe something they need to think about and work on. Few issues with the game we've got to dive into here before we talk about Los Angeles Thieves, though. Like this also from aBeZy. There was also some talk about the fact on Tuscan there's this like RPG thing in one of the shelves that if you blow it up, like it will actually kill someone on the other side of the wall. Bit of a disaster. But I mean, still, aBeZy mentions we won the break on Gavutu hardpoint. Then Chris, that being Simp, is in ring stairs. I tell him I'm going to shoot the barrels and just stay there. I shoot them and it still blows them up on the stairs. So yeah, apparently these barrels on these maps like out of control. Sometimes you'll see people just die in the kill feed. They'll just have like a skull icon next to them, and you'll feel like, okay, yeah, one of the barrels just blew up and took them out. So look, I don't really know why these are a thing, but apparently the radius is like crazy high and also relatively inconsistent. So difficult to say what exactly they should do about that one, but I'm sure not the top of the priority list to change. This is also a very big deal actually from Arcitys. He reckons he saw gamer tags through 3 walls yesterday in our match. So I think he's saying that these spots where the players were, he managed to just see their name through the wall, which of course isn't ideal. So I believe inside he reckoned in the replies that he like pre-fired insight out of this corner just because he saw like his gamer tag through the wall. Basically just got a free wall hack. The game just gave him a free wall hack until they get here the player is. So yeah, sometimes I guess that character models can somehow glitch through the wall, or and maybe if they do that just a tiny little bit, then name tags can get seen through the wall by the opponents. Of course, in this case, like this is from the Codcaster, right? So we can see the name tags and all this type of stuff. So it's not really relevant to us, but yeah, he reckons right here that he was like he could see someone through the wall. He could see Cammy through the wall because of his name tag, like regardless of actually not being able to see him. And even this spot that CleanX was in, apparently he got spotted here and got checked for just because they saw a name tag through the wall. So like yeah, it's just honestly Vanguard being Vanguard. Not really sure how you can even try and counterplay that if you're the Ultra guys, but maybe those were some key moments that swung the pendulum of the game, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really know. Vanguard obviously has bigger issues, I guess, to deal with, but this one still is not ideal by any means. Let's dive into Los Angeles Thieves, and as Envoy says, GG's Minnesota lost 2-3. No more words than this right from Envoy, but so far this season, I think he's probably been their greatest player, to be honest, been their best player. Most series he's had the most impact, and the rest of the team really hasn't showed up all that much. We looked at the stats last night. Octane so far, I mean, we'll look at the stats here in a few minutes time for the entire team. It's not particularly pretty. Kenny did have a great time towards the start of the year. Since then, it's kind of fallen off a little bit. Same with Drazah, to be perfectly honest, and their search and destroy has been pretty tragic. The respawn has been great. They're 0-3, 4-9 map counts. Yes, they've played good teams, but yesterday against Minnesota, that was an absolute must-win series for them, and they managed to fall short. So what is going wrong with this squad? What exactly needs to be done? Because I thought it was kind of funny, really, that they were clutching up here on this Tuscan search and destroy. They clutched up a nice 2v4, and then when it ends up on the map 5, all this talk, okay, them being in the search and destroy lab just completely collapsed, and they got 6-1. I think it was a 6-1 on the Vicage search and destroy towards the end. They got 2v4'd in one of those rounds. So yeah, what exactly is going wrong? Because Los Angeles Thieves, their search has been better when it's not a game 5. Like in game 2s, they've actually been alright. When it goes game 5, all of a sudden they're just out of control. Kenny's obviously smiling there, and of course, you know, feels feel free to smile, right? But I'm sure maybe he had some people in his replies talking about that one, to be honest, as he has done most recently. But as I say, closing out Major 2 qualifiers starting Friday. So, well, it's going to be a massive week for them. They need to probably like 6-0 map count this week if they actually want to make it through, because the map count is going to be important. Even if they go 2 and 3, their map count probably won't be good enough to actually make it through anyway. So maybe it's still possible, but it's going to be very challenging for them to do indeed. Probably not going to happen, all things considered. That means they're going to start in the losers bracket for the major, which means more than likely they're not going to place higher than like top 8, top 6, which of course, if that is the case again, and they go like back-to-back top 6s, for example, for a team that was dubbed early on to be a top 3 team in the game, like that's obviously nowhere near good enough. And Neighbor was kind of joking about it, right? He says that, you know, the iMessage here from Nadeshot comes through like they need this guy to come in and help the roster. But what exactly is wrong with this team? Is it just kind of the ice, the clutch factor or whatever? Do they just need to focus on the search and destroy a bit more? Because obviously you'd have thought at this point they would have done that. And Enable has always been the guy to say if the team doesn't work early on, it's never going to work and it's chalked. But the difficult thing is it's not exactly clear what roster move you even make to actually make this team better, to be honest. Because on paper, they've pretty much upgraded as much as they can in all the roles across the board. It just doesn't really seem to be working out so far. Plenty of words on this on the flank last night, really, from all the guys across the board discussing their search and destroy. The fact that they have literally 0 ice, especially in the game 5s. Also, the completely brain-dead plays they make a lot of the time. And the fact that their vetoes are very bad this year. Like the decision to ban Tuscan Hardpoint to play Bacage instead, they probably would have won that series 3-1 last night if they didn't play Bacage instead of Tuscan as they could have done. And of course, well, the vetoes don't necessarily just come from the coach of the team, but I guess there is some responsibility on him, but also on the players themselves. So across the board, a pretty disastrous situation.
Yeah.
LA Thieves are a better Tuscan team than they are a Bocage team. Regardless of if you're 0-5 or 0-3, they would match up better with you on Tuscan than they would on Bocage. So that's what just makes no
like their record shouldn't even matter here, even though they're better at Tuscan record-wise, because I think that's like one of the maps they have like not like lost. It's like Tuscan and what Gavutu were their 2 best for a while. Like it just doesn't make sense. They play Bocage because
statistically, Thieves are the worst S&D team in the game right now. Like percentage-wise and total win-loss. But on the flip side, they're also still the best, even though they're 0-4 in these last 4 games. They're still statistically the best hardpoint team in the game. So it's kind of.
It's like, look at their team.
This team just has no ice, bro. Period. They got no ice, negative ice.
Yeah, but they look at their team, though. Octane, Kenny, Envoy, and Drazah's talented as too. How do they have no ice?
I don't know. They're 1-4 in game 5s.
No, it was actually funny because I think in scrims or another match, Mike and I 2v4'd, so we were just like feeling it.
Okay, go back. Yeah, go back and pause. This is typical LA Thieves. What are they doing? Envoy plans the bomb. He starts running forward away from his teammates. Instead of running backwards towards his teammates or just staying alive on bomb, he runs forward. He tries to get into tunnel. He goes down.
They have everything but like field and the stairs. Like all you got to do is just play the like.
That's what I'm saying. So let it play out now. Now let it play out. So Envoy dies, and then also Kenny dies, pushing Brown by himself. Nobody's even there. Drazah wasn't even there for the trade. Bro, it goes from a 4v2 to a 2v2 in 2 seconds. Because they
I want to also have a critique here.
Because they both solo child.
The Thieves are in the danger zone as a team.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're
really getting close to bottoming out. And they didn't have an amazing major one either. So really do not want to see them starting losers. Yeah. And have to kind of stew on that. So I'm going to be curious to see what happens next week.
Am I off the pack or does anyone else agree? I think this Thieves team has the worst vetoes in the league. Like, it's repeated every series.
I feel like you're always talking about you're always.
So we do have to touch on the vetoes real quick. So as Jacob says, no words for that one. GG's to Minnesota. This was definitely being discussed yesterday, right? Because in Hardpoint, LA Thieves banned Tuscan. Now I believe, like I think it was something like Minnesota were 0-5 on Bacage and 0-3 on Tuscan or something, or maybe it was the other way around. Not really sure, but still, LA Thieves. I think they got 100 point clubbed by OpTic on it not too long ago now when they played them in that series. Like OpTic were just dominant on the Tuscan respawns in that one. But before that, Los Angeles Thieves were very good on Tuscan. They were 4-0 before the OpTic series. So a very good map for them. And a map that Minnesota don't seem to be good at. They seem to lose it all the time. They seem to choke it away sometimes. So I was very surprised to see that they decided to ban Tuscan in this series to LA Thieves and play Bacage instead. A map, of course, they went on to lose and then lost the game 5 as well. If they'd have gone the other route, maybe they win that series, right? So of course, that's not necessarily saying that's all of their problems. But I mean, yeah, it seems to be a relatively major one. And it's not just Jacob's fault necessarily. Like the coach might give his input, but then the players might decide, let's say in scrims the last few days they've been getting bodied on Tuscan, we want to play Bacage instead. Didn't really work out for them, did it? And to be honest, looking at the teams on paper, doesn't really seem like it would have done, but to be perfectly honest. Now, well, look at this, right? Just in comparison to earlier today, we looked at Dashy's stats and the way he's looking right now on the main assault rifle. It's got to be said that so far this season, Octane has been very underwhelming all across the board. These are the overall stats. Kenny with a 1.04 in hardpoint. Like, hardpoint is the most played game mode, the game mode they have the most reps in. Kenny with a 1.04 with it, well, the highest engagements, actually the highest engagements, or at least highest kills per 10 minutes on the entire team. Envoy has slightly higher engagements per 10 minutes, but that's very interesting. Like, I think some people have been saying to drop Kenny. I don't really buy that, to be honest. I still think he's got the potential to be the best player on this roster. The last few series hasn't been great. Drazah also started off great, but since then has kind of fallen short. And also the fact that his engagements are second lowest on the team is somewhat worrying, I would say, to be perfectly honest. But Octane here with a 0.99 is not what you would expect, right? Given the fact that he was meant to be coming back into the team to be the dominant assault rifle that he's been on the terrible team that has been the Seattle Surge the last 2 years, has come in here and has a, well, negative KD, like at this point in the season, really isn't a great sign at all. And the SMGs at a 0.98, 0.99, like that's not really too bad, to be honest, if your ARs are actually turning up. If Octane's here with a 1.1, then these stats actually look okay. But if he's not, then the team obviously seems to be struggling. And the fact that they still have a very good hardpoint record, despite these stats, is quite remarkable. But if we look at Search and Destroy, Drazah with a 0.83, yes, the first blood rate for Drazah and Envoy is the highest on the team, but again, Octane with a 0.99, and in Control, Octane is the only one negative out of 0.90. The rest of the guys are all positive. So, rather interesting, right, that Octane comes in here, was expected to kind of rejuvenate this team, especially given he's back alongside Kenny. That really hasn't worked out at all so far. So, look, what does this team do? I'm not sure there's even a clear trade or an upgrade that you can make with this roster, but of course, some people have been suggesting this. Well, okay, I've been suggesting this. It was kind of just joking, really, but who knows if it's even possible. Clayster, of course, got benched from New York. He's looking for another opportunity, and yes, he wasn't great so far in this game, but in this game, he was, of course, wearing the 100 Thieves top, and like, I don't know, I pointed out right here. Obviously, this will go on the thumbnail, but I mean, still, who knows, right? Because Octane's been underperforming, I guess, on Los Angeles Thieves. Could Clayster into this team potentially work? I don't really know if that's actually a good idea. I know that Octane and Kenny, I'm sure, still want to be teaming alongside each other, but who knows, right? Like, JCap, he likes making some roster changes. They've got Pentagram on their substitute bench. Maybe they bring him in for Drazah or something, but I feel like if this major doesn't go well, like, they've got to try something. Even last year, they were making changes pre-major, between major qualifying weeks, so, maybe they make a change even sooner than that, right? But currently 0-3, 4-9 map counts. It's not a recipe for success at all, especially because these are their final games. So while this is their qualification matches, the final set of qualification matches coming up later this week, and Thieves do not have the easiest run, especially given they just lost to Minnesota, a team that as of late has arguably looked worse than both LAG and Seattle Surge. So while they play LAG first up, this is a matchup that they did not win at all last year. Yes, of course, very different teams, but like last year, and LAG on a bit of a hot streak now, they just beat Seattle yesterday. Like, they come in here as arguably favourites against Los Angeles Thieves. Then later, they play Seattle Surge, a team that's, of course, very up and down, but with still a lot of potential to beat them. So this is certainly not going to be a comfortable week for LA Thieves. As I say, like, they're currently 4-9 map counts. Even if they win both these series, game 5 or something, which is unlikely anyway, but even if they can do that, okay, there'll be 2-3 series counts, but then there'll be, what is that, 4-9 now, they'd be 10-13 with 2 victories like that, which isn't the end of the world, but it's still not great and doesn't paint them in the greatest picture to get winners. And if they do anything worse than that, then they'll certainly be in losers, right? Which probably means the major is completely chalked. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. This is a funny video to finish out with here from the TacticalRab Academy. The kind of aim lab segment that CDL did last night, but don't kind of overlaying with some of the more disgusting turtles of so far this year. But very much intrigued to your thoughts down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button tells the YouTube gods this is a good video. Others like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you guys as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.